small. Good morning. How are ya? We finally got to do this. Jean Decker and Barbara Costanza and myself. We thought if we didn't do this online, it would not get done. Many people have been asking me how to do decals, and it's not hard at all. I'm going to start with the steps that you need to know before you put the decals on, and what you need to have to make decals. Now to start, to make a decal, you need to have a computer which has toner, a black and white computer that has toner. I have a Hewlett-Packard black and white laser printer. I think it cost me $99 about 8 years ago. And it's great. I have a very, very, very low cost plain Epson scanner. And that's great. So you need a scanner if you're going to create your own designs. I use a lot of different kinds of designs that, for example, my daughter has drawn, or I have printed from stamps. And so a scanner is necessary. And also what I do is I cut out different images that I find online that are not owned by people, that are usable, they're copyright free. And I cut those out, the black and white ones out, and I will put them all together on a sheet of typing paper or printer paper. And if you can take a look, you will see that they're all clustered together. And I try to do this because the decal paper is expensive. And you want to get as many decals as you can for each paper. So they may not have anything to do with each other, these images, but I put them down because I like them, and I think at some point I will probably use them. The bigger ones are probably not as useful unless you have a big flat area, such as this plate. And this is a flat area. This is very easy to put a decal on because there's no curving and there's no problem with that. This is a little bit different. This is a drawing my daughter did, and I had to make it small because when you curve the decal, it wrinkles on a curved surface. So when it wrinkles, air can get underneath it, and that prevents it from sticking properly in application. So those are considerations we have to have. So these are all papers that were put together by collage, so to speak. And I've done this always. I've always done it this way. So the first thing you need to do is create your decal sheet. And when you have a sheet that you're satisfied with, then you scan it into your computer, and then you have a JPEG or some image that you can then print on your computer. And what you do is you test it. If you test it, then you can see if all the images have cleared onto the paper that you're printing. If they haven't, then you have to make adjustments. You might have to move some images to make sure that they won't be cut off. And I have learned the hard way on that one. So when you are sure that it's going to print the whole page and all of your images are going to be copied, then put your decal sheet in. And on top of the decal sheet, you'll have a piece of wax paper that is protecting it. You must take this off, because if you don't, you won't get decals. You get wax paper printed. So I didn't do that, not yet. And then when you print this, when you put this in your printer and print it, you have decals, okay? So we've just made a page of decals, and this is what they are. See? Our decals. Now we are going to, this was what we were going to do, and you were going to make these and put them on dishes. but we have had a pandemic and nobody's doing anything they wanted to do. So what I'm going to do is to show you how to apply, to cut out and apply a decal to a piece of pottery. Now, what I would like to do is to make it small enough to fit in. Why don't you, oh, you have some right here. Small enough so it'll fit in a curved surface on this beautiful bowl. I love the back. Jean made these wonderful bowls. And I'm going to choose a lion family. So what I'll do is I'll cut the lion family out first. And all this paper that it's on is decal paper. So everything that I cut out is on decal paper. I don't know if I can make this so it'll all fit in. Let's see. Okay, so this is what we have here. And that looks kind of awkward with a rectangle, I think. So I'm going to try and round the edges out to see if we can get a more satisfactory image. So I'm cutting around the image. And you know what? I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this so it doesn't look terribly awkward, but I'm going to give it a try. I cut off his nose, but I don't think it'll be terrible. What do you think? Is that okay, you think? We think it's okay, so we're going to go with it. There's a little bit rough edges here, so I'm going to, everything you cut and have on the image is going to show up in the decal. So this is like a little window. I'm going to put it in warm water, and I'm going to let it sit there for about 30 seconds. And not too much more, because if the decal floats off the back, then you won't have the back to help you attach the decal. And I'll show you what I mean by that in just a minute. And I've made so many mistakes that I can tell you what to do now because I did it wrong. I may do it wrong again. I get a piece of paper towel ready, and I have this wonderful tool, a Merrill mud tool that's very soft, and it's perfect for this. You can use other things, but I like this tool. Okay, let's see if it's going to work. It's going to work. See, it's starting to slide off. Okay, so I'm going to dip it once more in the water so it'll be wet enough to stick, and I'm going to slide this off onto my bowl. Okay, there you have the image. I'm sorry. Barbara is a great cheerleader. She's telling me to do this right. Okay. So it's very wrinkled. That means there's air and water underneath here. So I'm going to take my squeegee and I'm going to, actually first I think I'll take the paper towel because it's still so wet. And I'm going to dry it up. And I see some wrinkles in here, so we're going to have a little bit of a challenge, but I'm not worried yet. Because it's curved, it's going to be a little more challenging than a flat one. And be very, very careful. This is a very fragile material. And you can see already it's a little bit disturbed on the bottom, and I'm not worried about that. I'm trying to take the wrinkles out. And I'm going to push from the center to the edge. And I'm going to use my paper towel and my finger. That, I think it's going to be okay. I'm going to get this one little area here. See that area right here? That's good, that's one. I'm afraid of pressing too hard because the stencil could rip. And I don't want that to happen. If it happens, we put it together again, but that's a little more challenging, although I have had to do it. Okay, there's our stencil. And when it's fired, it will be iron oxide. The toner in the printer works because it has metallic oxides in it. You will not get this to work with an inkjet printer. That will not work. You have to use a printer with toner in it. Shall we do another one? Thank you. I have only decaled glazed pieces. Here you go, Jean. I'll let you do this one. I'm going to take one of these horses and put it on the next one. See? Edward Muybridge did experiments with photography, and these are images that he came up with, but I love them. These are all also glazed with a Celadon glaze, and that glaze is a very good glaze to use. Now, artists have experimented with different glazes, and I have also noticed that some glazes, when fired with decals, do not come out successfully. And the reason for this, I am learning, is that some ingredients, some chemicals, like tin in a glaze, will affect its refiring when it's fired at cone 6, because decals are fired at cone 04 or 05. It affects the glaze in that firing, and it will not look like it does when you fire at cone 6. Just saying, I've had surprises galore with that. So I stick with the Celadon glazes seem to be the most reliable to use with the decals. If you want to experiment, that's fine. I also have a recommendation to look up this artist. Justin Rothschild is an artist who uses decals all the time. And there's an article worth reading, Breaking the Rule, Pushing the Limits with Decals. Now, while I'm waiting for these to set, I have here also some commercial decals, which are so nice. These are fired at a different temperature. Usually it's cone 016, but these decals are colored, and this is a black decal, so this will come out black instead of iron. I got these decals from an online store called milestone.com, and I've been using them for years. They sell so many different kinds of decals. They sell platinum, gold, silver, copper, white, black, different colors. They sell custom-made decals, and they've been very, very reliable as far as their mailing. And I've talked to them on the phone when things haven't been what I expected. They've been great. So I do recommend milestone.com. So you just, if you type that in, you'll find them immediately. Okay, I think these are ready. And once you put these on, they're movable until you set them. For example, these two, maybe I want to move them around a little bit. Well, I can do that. I can do that for a while until, maybe I want to do that. No. Okay, so it's a flexible situation. Until you want to dry them and press them and take the air out. I got these decals on a site on googleimages.com, and these are all, I think I plugged in images of animals, and they're copyright free. You have to say copyright free, because if you use owned images, you could get into trouble. This is not fair either. So you have to use copyright free images, and there are thousands of them. Some sites have copyright images, but you have to pay for them. And well, I don't have to do that. I mean, you know, our work is original enough, let's say that. But if you really need an image and you love it, then pay for it. But you must. These are going for empty bowls.
And what do we do with them?
These are sweet.
What do we do with them when they're to this point, Lee?
Oh, this point, that is a great question. And I have never done this until I read this article. So I've been doing decals improperly for years. But evidently you have to let these dry overnight, okay, before you fire them. And I will say I have had one failure recently. And the failure is this right here. I have had this decal attached. I have used this decal to attach to a plate I have. And I've tried it 3 times because I have other birds on the plate. And this, when I opened the kiln to take it out, had completely peeled off. And I'm not sure why this did not stay. I tried it 3 times, and I said, I better not fire it again, it'll probably crack. So, because it was flat. So I'm not sure what happened. That never happened to me before with decals. So I didn't look it up either. I probably could find an answer online. Oh, you've done all these, wow, okay.
So then after it's
Oh, this is
rested
great.
for 24 hours, you have to fire?
Yeah, you fire at cone 04, and there is a sort of a firing schedule, but I just do, and have been successful. I do a medium to fast firing on cone 4, and you leave your kiln propped for about an hour.
04.
Pardon me?
Go for it.
04. Not 4. Did I say 4? Cone 04. If you fire it to 4, it will disappear. The little guys, and I think they want to go on